Welcome to the Word for 2022. Today we're in Esther chapter 3. In this chapter, Haman devises a plot to annihilate all of the Jews. In verse 2, this came to focus when Mordecai refused to kneel down and pay homage to Haman. The edict was that whenever Haman went by, everyone was to kneel down and pay tribute to him. But Mordecai, he knew that he was not to kneel before anyone, and so he refused. In verse 4, day after day, Mordecai refused to comply. In verse 6, the fact that Mordecai did not bow before Haman, it was just making him so angry inside that he looked for a way to destroy all of Mordecai's people, the Jews. Haman, who was the king's advisor, went to the king and convinced the king that the Jews were trouble and they needed to be dealt with. The Jews, he said, they were different and that they are a threat. So, in verse 9, this is what Haman said to the king. If it pleases the king, let a decree be issued to destroy them, and I will put up 10,000 talents of silver and put them into the royal treasury for the men who will carry out this business. Haman was going to pay for the annihilation to take place. But the king said, Haman, keep your money and do as you please. So, on one single day, the edict was that all the Jews were to be exterminated. In the king's mind, how dare anyone desire to be different? Well, Mordecai desired to be different. He was going to follow after the Lord. He was more concerned about pleasing God than what anyone else thought. Devotional writer Whitney Capps, she rightly said this: Scripture attests that kingdoms and cultures collide over lordship. The kingdom of this world, they will accommodate nominal Christians, those that are Christians in name only. And then she said, for the most part, we can call ourselves Christians as long as we don't act like it. Mordecai dared to live differently. He dared to live like God was his king. He refused to bow or compromise his faith. Today, our culture says that we need to blend in, that we need to assimilate, that we need to capitulate. We need to absorb into the culture and thereby be nominal. The authorities today, they say, don't rock the boat. In fact, you must comply with what we say that you must accept, what we say that you must believe. You must adopt what we say is right and what is wrong. The question is, will we comply? Will we conform? Will we seek to please men rather than God? Will we stand up for our faith, or will we kneel in surrender? Mordecai determined that he was going to be a Jew first, no matter what the culture said or where he lived. Because Mordecai stood up for everyone to see, he now was a target. Opposition came, lies were told, disaster loomed, and all would be lost unless God intervened. It is a disturbing fact to know that Christians today face persecution and martyrdom all around the globe. But the question is, what allows people to stand in the midst of such opposition? Where does the grace come from to be able to stand no matter what the cost? Well, it's the realization of knowing that this is not our home, that God is with us, especially in times of trouble, that eternity is before us, and that God will give us the grace for what we need at the time. God never has promised that He will keep us safe from all harm. So, we continue to trust Him for our ultimate salvation. And where does that come from? It's when we leave this life and we're ushered into eternity. It's then when we will see Jesus face to face. We will hear Him say, well done, my good and faithful servant. And then we will be able to say, it was worth it all. Thank you for joining the Word for 2022.